Hello, this is Professor Toliat from City University of New York. At this lecture, we want to solve a problem and write a code with C++ programming. What is the problem? The problem is this: write a program that use for a statement to input three integers from the keyboard and print the sum, average, product, smallest, and largest of these numbers. The screen dialog should appear as follows, like this. So we want to ask the user to enter three numbers, so we don't want to enter a fixed number by ourselves. So we want to announce the user, please enter three integers, and after that our program should calculate the sum of these three integers, the average of these three integers, the product, 13 multiplied by 27 multiplied by 14, that the result is this, and the smallest is 13, the largest is 27 that we have here. So let's do it. How we can do it? We want to use the Eclipse for doing this. Now, for using the Eclipse, as I told you in previous lecture, so first you should make a folder, make a project, and then inside of the project or inside of the folder you should create the file, source file. How you can make a folder? So in file you should choose the new, then C++ project, and then the name, for example, average. Imagine any name that you want. You are using the empty, you want to write the you want to use the empty project, and then because I'm using the Windows machine, the compiler that installed in my machine, and then finish. Now the average is coming, it's here. Right click on the average, and then you want to create the source file inside of that source file. In the source file, for any name, for example a.cpp, because the extension of the source file for C++ is cpp. Then now here we go, you are ready to writing the program. I told you that for the first line we should we should tell to the compiler that which which library we want to use by this line, include iostream. That iostream is the basic library that we use. And then after that, so you can have many libraries here, but at least you have this library. And after that, using name space std, you want to inform the compiler that you are using the standard, you want to write a standard program, C++ program. Don't care about this error, because you should finish your program, save it, build it, and then you will find all of your errors. So right now you shouldn't care about them. And then your program starts with the main function, and you should actually you should declare your main function, and then start your main function. I told you that at least you can have many functions, but at least you have one function, that this function is main function, and you should declare this function that is an integer. And okay, it has everything that you want to write for the main function. It should be enclosed between two braces. So now we start with variable declaration. We want to declare our variables. So the first variable, for example, I call it as x, and then so x is the number that we want to get from the user. And then, for example, we have sum, and then, for example, sum. So because the number that we want to get, they are integer, so the sum of them would be integer. And then the average, for the average, they are integer, so the average of them should be integer. Okay, So I told you previously that what we want to do here, we want to reserve a part of the memory by variable declaration. What is this memory? Is the RAM. Why RAM? Because RAM is a temporary memory, and the variable is the temporary storage that we want to reserve a part of the memory from that. So I told you that if you don't need the much memory, don't reserve the much memory. I mean that, so if you want by integer, if integer is enough for you, so that's it, don't go over the double, because double take twice of a memory rather than the integer. So you can imagine that because we have three integers and we want to calculate the average of these three integers, so the result should be integer. So integer is enough for you, don't go over the double. And then again, the product of them should be integer, and we can initialize the product by, for example, 1, because at least we don't want to get the 0, so we can. And also for some, they could be 0, because maybe we have a for example negative minus 2 plus 2, so the answer is 0, for example. And then here we have the integer of smallest and also largest number. Oh, sorry, here the separator is colon. And then we want to start with the for loop. For using the for loop, you should first so we need a counter here that we want to say that how many iterations we will have. For example, we have 3 numbers, okay, so we have 3 iterations. Now you can declare I here like this, and so you don't need the I here, or you can write here. So for example, when I declare I here, so I define what is I is integer, that I is the iteration, so the first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, so I is started from 1 to 3, and then I is increased 1 by 1. So because of that, we are writing I plus plus. Instead of this, we can write, for example, I plus 1, okay, but the easiest way is this one. And then the for loop, because we have some we don't have one statement, we have some statements. So because we have many statements, more than one statement, so we should enclose everything in between 2 braces again. So then inside of 2 braces, we want to say that cout please enter an integer number. Okay, so we want to ask the user to enter the integer for us, and L, because that we want when print this for user, it goes to the next line. So because this line, we put this line inside of the loop, inside of the for loop, so how many times it's repeated? It should be repeat 3 times, it would be repeat, and three times, so we will write this. Actually, we will have this this sentence, please enter an integer number, then the user enter a number, then we should read the number by C in X. And then now it's the time for defining what is the sum. Let me tell you what is the sum. The meaning of this equal sign here is not equality. The meaning of this is the assignment. It is an assignment operator. We were saying that whatever, so the meaning of assignment operator is this, that whatever is the right hand we want to assign to the left hand, that the left hand is this variable. So we want to say that sum plus x, we want to put it inside of the sum. Sum right now is 0 because we initialize by 0. 0 plus x, x for the first time we get the x from the user, so x plus sum, so it's x right now. For the second time that I saw is 1, then I is 2, so sum is x, and x would be add by the second x, by the new x, and the result goes to the sum. And also for the third time. Then we are saying that what is the product? That product is actually, let me write it. Okay, so we are saying that product is a variable that we defined it here, at least it's we initialize by 1. So why we initialize by 1? If we initialize by 0, so 0 multiple this, always the product is 0. But we initialize by 1. Why? Because for the first time when we say 1 multiple x, so the x, the product, the result of product is whatever is x. But if we actually initialize by 0, so it's 0 against 0, so it's 0. We don't need 0. So 1 multiple x, x comes to the product. Then we have the second x, so I is 1, I is 2, the second x, x multiple the new x multiplied by the previous x, the result comes here. Then again result goes here, and the third x comes. Okay. Then we want to find what is the smallest, what is the largest. So by if statement we can find the smallest number, and the smallest is x. We are saying that if the product, so we are saying that if the the iteration is the first, we are in the first number, so we have only one number. If we have only one number, so that one is the smallest. And if the x is less than the smallest, then smallest would be x. So we are saying that the first one we want to initialize by this one, we initialize it by we are saying that the smallest is the first one, the first integer that user enters is the smallest one, and then we compare it with the second one, and if it is less than the second one, then again it is the smallest. The third one, if the x is the smallest, so at the end we will find what is the smallest one, else it is the largest. So x means here that if it is not this, then this one. So the previous one was not happen here, so we are saying that it is the largest. The largest, it should be exactly same as this largest that we declared. So the for loop is finished. Now we want to actually print our result. So the sum is something, and then this is the string, and we want to say that exactly we want to print this, and then we want to print the result here, and then end L because we want to go to the next line for the next output. And again we have a string here, the for example average is colon is what is the number that we get actually from the average, but we didn't define the average, so we can write it here, exactly right here. We can say that sum divided by 3 is the average. You can write like this, or you can in between the program you can, for example, say that average is this. So sum, you can put sum, yeah. But here actually we have the average, so we don't need this because we didn't use it here. We said that sum divided by 3. So I can actually this one, I can cancel that one, and then I'm writing again C out the product is okay. The product, again, it is a string, so it should be enclosed between double quotation. For the product, we have the product here. We define the product. Okay, so it's enough that we write the variable that right now the result of product is stored in that, and L, and then we are saying that C out again. For example, what was the, okay, the other result is the smallest is, for the smallest, again we have defined a variable for that, for storing the last result of the smallest, and yes, then C out the largest is, oh, I have error here. The largest is, okay, again for this one we have, oops, for this one we have a we have defined the variable, and then and L. Okay, now okay, so our question was about the sum, about the average, about product, smallest and largest number. So I think yes, we finished. Return 0. That returns 0 related to the main function that we want to say that we don't need any thing that main function return for us. Now you should save it, save, and okay, when you save, you will see that those errors would be disappear. You build it, the program. Okay, now we run the program, and let's look the run. Okay, please enter an integer number. So because this sentence inside of the loop, it is inside of the loop, so 3 times it should be appear here for us. For example, 9 enter. Again, for the second time, for example, 4 enter. For the third time, for example, this one. Okay, it is the sum, it is the average, it is the product, it is this, the smallest and the largest. Okay, so we have finished this program. Again, for the writing, you can define what is the average inside and put the average here, or you can write the formula here directly. You find the formula here and ask the compiler to calculate it for you. Okay, for the next question, I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you.